Today I'm reacting to your Friday Night SmackDown Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether those are good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you're following me over on X because I ask for your hot takes there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. And yes, I will be doing one immediately after Wrestle Palooza, so make sure that you're following me on there so that you can send in your thoughts. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if you are looking for our full review of this particular episode of Friday Night SmackDown, plus what will be our full review of Wrestle Palooza with footage, all of that will be available over on patreon.com/SantiZab. So make sure you check out the link in the description or the link in the pinned comment. Over there, we upload so much more extra content that can never get uploaded here because it would just get blocked due to copyright. So go check it out. Again, link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's get started. Melo should have won here. We don't need to see every champion hold on to the title for months at a time. This could have been Carmelo Hayes' big moment and become US champion. Look, I don't disagree with the sentiment that this would have been a huge moment for Carmelo Hayes. However, I think this can still be a huge moment for Carmelo Hayes somewhere down the line. Right now, it just wasn't the right time for him to win the United States Championship, mostly because it's not the right time for Sami Zayn to lose the United States Championship. There is a magic about these open challenges or like invite-only challenges because Sami Zayn is just picking and choosing whoever he wants, really, at this point. In fact, I dare say that it's the best thing going on Friday Night SmackDown, and Friday Night SmackDown admittedly has been kind of dull, and I don't want to lose what has been one of the most fascinating, most intriguing, most talked about portions of the show just yet. Sami Zayn needs to hold on to this for a while. Sami Zayn needs to win match after match after match so that we can build up to a big cathartic moment where he finally gets dethroned. If he's out here losing in his third match in an open challenge series, well, that's just gonna be deflating for the fans, for Sami Zayn, and for whoever wins it as well. I'm telling you, I love Carmelo Hayes as much as the next guy, but this was not the right time for him to win. We need a sixth match for Wrestle Palooza. So much for this being such a hugely important show that's gonna kick off the era of ESPN and WWE working together. This literally just feels about as B tier of a PLE with some A tier matches. Why couldn't you squeeze in a sixth or a seventh match when we've seen you be able to do it with matches added for Clash in Paris, with 7 matches at Evolution? If you want people to believe that this is on par with WrestleMania or SummerSlam, all of those have 8 to 9 matches per night. So going into a show with only 5 matches to me is highly disappointing. Again, the 5 matches that are on there are completely star-studded matches, but you could have easily added a mid-card match here or there. I know that initially, I guess the plan was to add the women's triple threat match that's scheduled for now next week to be added to Wrestle Palooza. That had to get pulled, but you had Damian Priest and Aleister Black sitting right there that you could have added to this show. And I have seen the tickets to Wrestle Palooza apparently completely plummet, like right down to the ground, and maybe a reason for that is because it's not selling out, because people are getting sick and tired of paying thousands and thousands of dollars for getting 4 to 5 match PLE cards. You see, this was the best tag team division in WWE for 2 years because of these 2 gents. Now they get attacked by the Vision, send them to Raw like they did with LA Knight, put the belt on them and watch the division be reborn. I certainly see it, right? It was the formula that got LA Knight to go over to Monday Night Raw, and it got LA Knight inserted perennially into the main event picture of Monday Night Raw, so I'm sure it could easily work with Fraxium right here. Look, Monday Night Raw clearly needs bodies in their tag team division because the tag teams that they do have, they simply have no interest in using, it seems. And from what we're seeing, it seems like there's a pretty clear path for the Vision to be going after the tag titles sometime soon, and to add a team like Fraxium there is just gonna give the Bronze another set of opponents to have unbelievably good matches with to help elevate the importance of the tag titles. They helped elevate the importance of the SmackDown tag titles, and they helped elevate the importance of the NXT tag titles in a division where you said it was the best division. That division was dead for like 2 years, and it was only alive because of these 2. So we know that they can carry dead divisions, and right now it doesn't get more dead than the Monday Night Raw tag team division. So yeah, I'm down for this. Let's send Fraxium over to Monday Night Raw. I thought The Miz on commentary was top notch tonight. I really hope that once he retires, WWE gives The Miz a shot at commentary with Michael Cole or Joe Tess. Either way, I really enjoyed him on the desk tonight. Yeah, The Miz was fantastic. I think The Miz is going to be one of those guys that has a place in the WWE for the rest of his entire life if he wants it. Think about it. Obviously, he's a pretty solid wrestler and has been able to stay healthy up to this point in his career, but he's also a very good, charismatic guy that's just great on the microphone and in front of a camera. He can be a host. He can be a backstage correspondent. He could be a manager. He could be a commentator like he was tonight. There will always be a place for somebody like The Miz in the WWE, and commentary to me is going to be a natural transition for The Miz once he sunsets his in-ring career. And it is pretty clear that WWE does like the formula of having a former wrestler be paired up with a more traditional play-by-play guy like Michael Cole or Joe Test. They did it tonight with The Miz. They've been doing it on Friday Night SmackDown with Wade Barrett. Corey Graves is a former wrestler over on NXT. They're doing it with Booker T. So why not The Miz? I think The Miz demonstrated that he's got a knack for this too. Charlotte Flair is having one crazy 2025, from getting booed after the Rumble to now getting love and respect from the crowd. Like, I would say that this is the most likable that Charlotte Flair has been and the most connected that she has been with the fans. I think finally she is over with the crowd, not because she is a Flair, but because she is Charlotte. Because I'm gonna say it, I think that Charlotte Flair, although she is a great worker, I think she spent the majority of her career simply being over by just being a champion. Look, if you're gonna be a world champion the entire time, like, I would say that it's pretty easy to get boos or cheers pretty routinely. But now she's getting love. She's getting pops for being Charlotte and being an actual character with depth, as opposed to just being cheered or booed because she's a world champion. Cody and Drew main eventing is 100% going to end with some weird twist or return. AJ and Punk versus Seth and Becky has been the best built feud by far, but Cody and Drew is main eventing. Cody is going to retain and get ambushed, but the question remains, by who? So I am a little bit surprised that Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre is main eventing, because they basically have had little to no build for this match. Meanwhile, the mixed tag match has been a fantastic feud, and John Cena versus Brock Lesnar is the bigger match in terms of overall star power. So in terms of the pecking order, I thought Cody and Drew was sitting firmly at number 3. But here we are. It is main eventing. And of course, I'm also expecting shenanigans at this point, in the exact same way that I expected shenanigans once I heard that the Fatal 4-Way at Clash in Paris was going to main event. Because let's face it, the only reason to have Cody and Drew main event is because something wild is going to happen. And I'm going to predict that that something wild is Randy Orton taking out Cody Rhodes. I don't think it's going to be the return of a legend or anything like that. I think it's going to be a further continuation of a storyline that we as fans have been clamoring for WWE to really dive into much deeper, which is, of course, the saga of teacher versus student, Cody and Randy Orton. The way Brock was booked tonight was fun and exciting. It was a normal repeat of building a match for a go-home show. It reminded people how ruthless Brock can be, which is exactly what this feud and build needed. I think that this feud and build could have benefited from an actual conversation between these two, maybe an actual reason as to why Brock Lesnar is attacking John Cena, because we still don't know why. But I have to agree with you. I do think that this segment for Brock Lesnar did work wonders and reminding us how evil, diabolical, and ruthless Brock Lesnar can be, because the previous week's segment with R-Truth did the complete opposite. It made people like Brock Lesnar because he was being funny cowboy Brock Lesnar. Oh no, my pants ripped, but I'm still a monster that can eat you alive, which makes me charming. But this is a Brock that's scary, that is a monster that John Cena should be fearing. This is a far, far better book segment for Brock Lesnar in terms of getting our minds ready and to get them accustomed to what kind of Brock Lesnar John Cena is going up against. The Brawns should have won the Raw tag titles the second that Bronson joined the Vision. A blood feud between the Usos and the Brawns for the tag titles would have fed families. Honestly, I agree. I feel like I would care a lot more about this match if it had the tag titles on the line. The Judgment Day isn't particularly doing anything impressive with those titles, so you could have, in a quick 1 week turnaround, put the titles on the Brawns or put the titles on the Usos if you wanted, to make this match just feel significantly more important. Because right now, albeit I am excited for the match, I really do think that this match in particular could have benefited from some additional stakes on the line. Mostly because I feel like I've seen this combination or variation of this match already 50 different times, 50 different ways on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I agree. I think that putting the World Tag Titles on this would have been a wonderful idea, but I do foresee somewhere down the line them feuding for the world tag titles. I don't think that we're far off from that, especially with the Bronze having what it might be a little micro feud here with Fraxium, who is a traditional tag team going after tag team gold. To me, signals that the Bronze are going to be going after tag team gold. Man, I sure did love a 2-hour tutorial on how to watch WrestlePalooza. Dude, those segments were getting so goddamn annoying. There were a total of 4 separate segments to teach us on how to watch WrestlePalooza. You could have had 3, you could have had 2, you could have had 1. And somewhere in there, we could have sprinkled frickin' Julia and showing and showcasing the Women's United States Championship Series. But no, we're all so fucking dumb and stupid that we need to be walked and coddled as to how to watch WrestlePalooza on ESPN. Listen, if you need to have tutorials and step-by-step guides as to how to watch your show, you're doing something wrong. I'm telling you right now, it is easier to turn on a VPN and open Netflix than it was to watch WrestlePalooza on ESPN. And yeah, they had to even dance around their language. They had to say, most cable providers have it, because not all of them do. And they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot when you think that you have WrestlePalooza because you have ESPN on cable. But lo and behold, that particular provider hasn't reached a deal with ESPN and WWE. I just feel bad for my American friends, man. Like, you guys are getting shafted with a higher increase in pricing for this show, but now apparently you need to friggin' learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube in order to be able to watch WrestlePalooza. Brock Lesnar has the weirdest motives ever. Like, why did he do that to Corey Graves? Yeah, Brock Lesnar is a weird cat right now in terms of how they're booking him. I think the intention of last week was, oh no, he beat up the lovable R-Truth, and we all love R-Truth, but that segment was such a colossal disaster. The Rip Pants really did not help the situation, and they just sort of needed to do something else again to remind us of how ruthless and diabolical Brock Lesnar could be. That's pretty much the only reason why this segment existed in the first place. But I do have a question about Corey Graves. Corey Graves has not been cleared to compete for a very long time. He took not 1, but 2 nasty F5s. Are we looking at a potential near future of Corey Graves getting back into the ring? I don't hate it. Listen, if they had Pat McAfee have a PLE match as a commentator against Gunther, somebody that isn't an actual professional wrestler, I would absolutely be down if they were to create a storyline of Corey Graves stepping up and trying to go after Brock Lesnar in a PLE match, because Corey Graves, unlike Pat McAfee, is a trained, very good professional wrestler. Nia Jax getting her 4th title shot. Jade Cargill gets her 3rd title shot in Tiffany Stratton's first reign as champion. SmackDown's women's singles division sucks. Taking that off of WrestlePalooza was the right call. SmackDown has killed any desire to make me want to watch it live. You know, when you lay it out in front of me like that, the fact that it is a 4th shot for Nia Jax and a 3rd shot for Jade Cargill is very, very telling. It's very representative of how not deep the women's division currently is. And here's the thing, yeah, you can bring back Bianca Belair. That's exciting, but that doesn't really fill the void that is the current problem, which is that they don't have another top heel not named Nia Jax at the moment. Yeah, this division is a complete mess. The only other feud that didn't include either of these two that Tiffany Stratton has had since WrestleMania was a one-off borderline exhibition match against Trish Stratus at Evolution. This is getting insane. Like, this women's division needs help. It needs people. It needs bodies. It needs trades with Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw is like a stark, completely different situation where they actually have depth across both divisions, mid-card, tag, and they don't even have the tag titles over there, and of course the main event scene as well. We need to juice up the women's main event scene on Friday Night SmackDown, because I agree, it is a damn dumpster fire at the moment. Cena versus Lesnar is going to be exactly like SummerSlam 2014, except Cena hitting a last-second AA to win the match. I don't know if Brock raises Cena's hand like he did with Cody's, but it would be nice to see that rivalry end like that. I think that this is a really realistic way for this match to go, because the one thing that was missing from that SummerSlam 2014 match that everybody was waiting for, basically from the onslaught of Brock Lesnar annihilating John Cena, was the Super Cena comeback. We never got it. It killed the notion and the imagination of Super Cena. It killed hustle, loyalty, respect. So I think a nice full circle moment would be for Brock Lesnar to eat John Cena alive only for that magic of the champ is here, the magic of hustle, loyalty, respect arises, and Super Cena comes out of the ashes like a freaking phoenix and eliminates Brock Lesnar. That, to me, sounds like a wonderful way for this match to go. Where the heck is Jacob Fatu? I haven't seen him since Sammy won the title from Solo, right? I feel like they're wasting him and just letting him sit and doing nothing. And we know it's not an injury either, because he has been having dark matches on Friday Night SmackDown after the show goes off the air. So we know he's there. We know he's in catering during the actual on-air time of Friday Night SmackDown. What is the problem? I have no idea. Are they waiting for something? Are they maybe waiting for Sami Zayn's reign as US champion to grow more and more and more and more until they bring back Jacob Fatu to dethrone Sami Zayn? Maybe they're waiting for the end of Aleister Black and Damian Priest so they can run something with Damian and Jacob, or maybe Aleister and Jacob, which Aleister versus Jacob, hell yeah, sign me the hell up for that. But like, you don't need to have Jacob Fatu on ice just to wait for a different feud to materialize. I'm getting concerned here, because if WWE doesn't use you, it's usually because they don't have plans for you. And not having plans, not having a direction, usually ends up being a death sentence for a career in WWE. And I really sincerely hope that that doesn't end up being the case here. Since this match is opening the show and not closing, I sadly think that Brock is winning. WWE doesn't want to end the show with Brock winning, so instead they will end the show with Cody beating Drew to send the crowd home happy. It also sets up Brock and Cena to be in War Games. I didn't think about the possibility of them both being at War Games. We did see an interaction between Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Maybe that culminates in him joining the Vision and John Cena joins the group of babyfaces to go up against the Vision. That would be pretty swell, especially because maybe after that War Games match, it could set us up for a final match against Seth Rollins. But I imagine if Brock Lesnar does win, which, by the way, I totally get where your thinking is at. I'm starting to lean that way as well with this match opening with Lesnar winning. It would very easily set us up for a repeat match at Crown Jewel, which we're going to need something to happen with Cena to lead us into Crown Jewel, because he's confirmed for Crown Jewel, but has no appearances between WrestlePalooza and Crown Jewel. And him losing to Brock Lesnar is an easy way to pivot and go to Crown Jewel without having to have John Cena show up for Raws or SmackDowns. What exactly does Brock Lesnar need from Paul Heyman? Does he want to join the Vision, help with a title opportunity? I've been scratching my head for what it could possibly be about. I think the most obvious one is probably Brock Lesnar wanting a world title opportunity, which could then tie in with Heyman wanting a favor beforehand, which could be Brock Lesnar helping the Vision at War Games. It is all starting to connect. But I do think it's fascinating that they've teased a reunification of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, which, by the way, the segment with R-Truth, which was just a mess, demonstrated to the world that Brock Lesnar needs a Paul Heyman when it comes to having conversations and words, because Brock Lesnar can't have them. I think that reuniting them for Friday Night SmackDown and Paul Heyman perhaps doing double duty with Brock Lesnar on SmackDown with the Vision on Raw, I think that that's the best situation for everybody, and eventually we can coalesce the two with the Vision and Brock Lesnar partnering up at War Games. SmackDown Women's Division needs a top heel. Blake Monroe can be that heel. She doesn't need NXT. You know what? Sure, I agree with this sentiment, and I do think that you've hit it on the head. This is exactly what SmackDown needs. It doesn't just need Bianca Belair back, because that doesn't fully fix our problem. It helps with the depth issue, but right now the biggest problem in terms of depth comes from top heels, because after Nia Jax, what do we have? Like Candice LeRae, Julia as the top heels of Friday Night SmackDown. When SmackDown lost Naomi to Monday Night Raw, it left such a giant power vacuum in terms of who's going to be the next top heel of Friday Night SmackDown, but no one's been able to fill that void as of yet. Something about Cody as champion this time around doesn't feel right. I hope Drew wins tomorrow so that Cody can have a feud that develops his character more before going back to being the top champion. I think that thing that feels off is the fact that this is the first time that we've had a part-time Cody Rhodes. For the most part, he's been there every single week. He's been like the most consistently there guy that WWE has had over the past 2 years. So having him win the WWE Championship only to instantly take like a month and a half off to go film a movie immediately made a lot of people feel sour and a little bit off about this championship reign compared to the other ones that he's already had. Whatever they're doing with the Street Profits is excellent, and I hope Triple H actually breaks them up and pushes both of them, because they are both so good. Not some long-term storytelling and breakup off screen screen like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. It is nice to know that I'm not the only one that continues to be bothered by the fact that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory storyline was played on social media with no proper payoff. It still pisses me off to this day. I do have more faith in this, especially because we have a character in Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, the Wyatt Six, that actually does get featured there on a weekly basis for the storylines to actually progress and move along. So I don't think it's going to be a situation like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, but I also don't blame you for having no hope. Now that Alexa and Charlotte has faced a team from both NXT and SmackDown this week, it's time for them to go up against the Kabuki Warriors next. Yeah, they need to leave Friday Night SmackDown. I think that they need to go spend some time on Raw. Raw is the one that has all the women's tag teams at the moment. Like you said, the Kabuki Warriors, the potential team up of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. You might as well go over there. I think that you've already milked enough this feud with the Secret Harvest that it doesn't really have any room to go anywhere else. And when I look beyond the Secret Harvest on Friday Night SmackDown, there ain't nobody for them to feud with. So yeah, go to Monday Night Raw, Kabuki Warriors. I think that's a good call. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. This is going up a little bit early to give you some time to watch this and breathe before WrestlePalooza, but that's it. Goodbye. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.